Hi everybody, it's Theia. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Ridiculous and Epic 2025 Collection and Declutter Series. Today's a fun one, mostly because I'm a little bit relieved that I don't have to make a whole lot of very difficult decisions, because this particular category that we're doing today, my Fae decks, as well as all of my Jasmine Becket Griffith decks at the end, which have kind of a touch of otherworldliness about them, as we all know. This category I foresee myself not getting rid of very many from at all. In fact, there's only one or two that I'm like pretty sure are gonna go. So for the most part, this is just gonna be a collection video. There's not gonna be too much agonizing, which is gonna be a nice break after the last 5 videos in this series. If you haven't watched any of those yet, you're curious about what the heck's going on, there's a playlist link in the bottom. You can go and click on that and watch the, so far, like, there's like 7 or 8 hours of, 7? Probably about 7 hours of footage from those videos, plus this one. So there's lots for you to do if you've got a nice day where you just need to clean the house or go about your business listening to me ramble in the background. Today is basically just going to be a little show and tell of all of the Fae decks that I've got, which is a category that I thoroughly enjoy. I have a very... It's a friendly relationship. I'm not going to say it's a super deep connection to, because the Fae are elusive and tricksy and can be very of their own as time tends to weave on. But I enjoy working alongside them here on the land I live in. And in the spring, I always, whenever the first violets are out, I always give them an offering in this little old rotten it's not really a tree stump because it's like 8 feet tall, but the top of the tree's gone and it's all kind of hollowed out, and there's this little ledge in it that I always leave the little violets for them in the spring, and it feels like a portal, and it's very, I don't know, it feels sparkly. So yeah, I enjoy sitting in their energy, feeling their presence, and allowing whatever wisdom they have to guide as needed. And that's just how I personally kind of work with Fae. But yeah, no, it's a very interesting energy to work with. And if you have or do work with Fae energy, you know. And I also have some other weird personal associations that I haven't verified just yet. It's your old UPG, but there's some connections to other things with Fae that I kind of feel very strongly about, but it's been like there's no evidence nor confirmation of this other than me doing work and pulls and feeling my way through the space. So anyway, maybe some other day we will talk about what that is and how it shows up, but for now, just know that this is very dear to my heart and practice category, and these decks are some of my favorites in it. So that being said, let's clear out this is a little interview spread I did with a new couple of decks, and isn't it wild? This is the Two of Cups, it's the Tower and Temperance, so it was really a bliss up here. These are another couple of those new Chanel decks that I'm testing out, so yeah, keep an eye out. I will talk about them at a later date. This little guy is so fun. I'm like loving this one. And then yeah, this tarot is wicked. So anywho, we'll talk about those later. We need to clear some space though, because today we were talking Fae. So I guess we'll just start trucking along. Let's pull this one out first, because I think this is technically my most recent. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. This is the Tarot of Strange Branches. Isn't that a cute little bag? I've talked about this. Have I? Maybe it was just in a member video. One of the exclusive member videos that members get to hear me rambling on in every so often. I've got a little piece of petrified wood in here. Tarot of Strange Branches. Very earthy, connected to the land kind of deck. And this is it right here. It's French. It's a French deck, but very easy. Tarot is kind of transcends language, which is part of the joy of it all. But yeah, I'm super connected to this deck, and for me, like since day one that I picked it up, it's been a Fae deck for me. Like it just is. It encapsulates everything I feel about like the raw earthiness and the whimsy and the mischievousness that is there, as well as tying like a very easily projected version of myself into the situation. So it's really great for that. I love this one for kind of connecting to the land that I personally live on, the space I am in, the energy that I inhabit. it's wonderful. It's very good. And it reads like a treat. The guidebook is French, but I don't need the guidebook. These are very clear, like very obvious. They have an interesting spin on the tarot meanings as well. That really works well in a very like emotional and I don't know, it pulls things out that you like wouldn't necessarily like fall out via the imagery of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, I guess is what I say about that. But I love the art style. It's a joy and a treat. And yeah, no, this is a really good one. And I think one of my I do a rambly flip through of this one in one of the member videos, but I'm not sure I've shared it with you guys yet, but yeah, I love it so much. So that's one, and I'm gonna show it next to the other one that it's going. It's not that I'm considering getting rid of it. It needs to. I've given it so many tries. You guys, I've given it so many tries. I've wanted it to work, but she's cold. She's a cold reader for me. She says nothing. Much like the Dreamkeeper's Tarot with me. It's just, I don't know. Don't know what it is. They give me nothing. Also, Llewellyn deck in huge box. Are we sensing a trend? It's funny because I do in my heart really kind of want to try the Witch Sister Tarot by the same creator, Julia Jeffrey. But I have a feeling that I might encounter the same problem I have with this deck with that one, and that would be really upsetting for me. So I'm just avoiding dealing with that at all right now. So if you think, if you're a person who's used both the Tarot of the Hidden Realm as well as the Witch Sister Tarot, how do they feel? Do they feel like they're would you consider the decks like siblings? Do they kind of feel the same but different, or are they completely different beasts? Or do you find they read kind of this, like they're the same style in that, figure close up and then you're chained to the guidebook, which if it were a small guidebook, I'd be less concerned about. But because you're chained to a guidebook of this size, it's tricky. And you'll see if you've not seen the deck before, like this has been around the block, but the cards they're very subtle in their connection to tarot and the imagery. It's very, I would say like it's an archetype deck without being clear. And especially when you get into some of the minors where the archetypes are a bit looser, it's a little bit more difficult to discern kind of the message, at least for me. And there's something about these figures that feel, I don't know, they're almost like they're too human. I don't know, maybe not. But it's one that I've had like years worth of struggle with. And at this point, with the stack that I have over here of decks within this same category that work really well for me, I just don't think there's the space for this one to like take up the mental energy of me like lamenting and anguishing over it, So the thing is though, it's beautiful, and I actually don't mind the cardstock. I don't mind the titles on this one. They're not like that silly little banner. It's actually just like a solid golden thing. Border. I guess it's a border. An edge. But I don't know, it's not my Fae deck, which is like this one is. This one feels so much more alive than this one. I don't know. It's a me thing. I'm gonna say that a million times in the course of these videos. It's just that it'll be a me thing whether or not I connect to a deck or not. I think a lot of you in the comments have been saying as well. It's like, wow, it's interesting that like, yeah, you didn't get along with this deck, but it's one of my favorites, and this just goes to show truly that we all interact with the energy of tarot decks wildly differently. So it's as useful as tarot reviews are. It's really, I think, TarotTube's main purpose is just so that you can get a look at the cards in a deck, so that you can see if it's something that resonates with you or not. And that is thank goodness for TarotTube. It saved me so much money in decks that I realized that I didn't want because someone out there bought a box, opened it up, shared it on the internet. I think that's where TarotTube kind of started, was with flip throughs. That's probably how 90% of us found TarotTube, is we were looking for a deck that we were thinking of getting, and we wanted to see what more of the cards look like. Found a flip through, and here we are, years later, caught in its grasp. But it's so interesting. Like, see this. This one is like, yes, this one gives me the elemental and intense energy of, this is the Goddess of Wands, which would be the King of Wands, which is our lovely Leo card. Isn't it adorable? And then Life Renewed. This is a Judgment card. Card number 20. It's not. I don't know why, but it isn't. Sprouting Acorn. Like, I've talked at length about the energy and magic of a sprouting seed and how impactful that is, but for some reason this card doesn't give me that. I don't like it. Why? What's wrong with me? Anyway, it's okay. It's almost kind of good because I'll be able to let this one go, make space for one that works a little better for me. It's really interesting how, though they are different art styles, how similar these two decks feel, yet also this one being so unreadable for me, and this one giving me what I need. And that may make no sense to anyone else, but for me it's like clear as day. So we connect with what we connect with, I guess. So yeah. I also don't like, I think is it the aces? Yeah, the aces in this deck are all animals. And we all know how I feel about a card that just has an animal slapped on it. Like, this is the case where this does very little for me. It does not feel like the Ace of Cups to me. So, yeah. I think Tarot of the Hidden Realm is going to go. I am going to roll around in my brain the potential looking into Witch Sister, but I have a feeling it might do like the same issues I have with this one. I'll have with that one. I also really don't like these backs, which is weird because they're cool. Like, they're gray, they look like a dragon, but I feel like this should have been more of a warmer tone, like color-wise. Like, I feel like the coolness just takes away from it all. I've edged it. I edged it in gold first, and it looked bad, so I went over it with black, and it actually turned out really cool. It's like this like pewter color, which is so neat. But anyway, yeah, no, I think this doesn't do it. It's gonna go. I've spent too long talking about it, so. It's going to be usurped by the Tarot of Strange Branches over here, and that's that. So that's the first one. That's the one that's the only one that I'm like really 1000% sure is gonna go, and then Tarot of Strange Branches is gonna stay. Now let's start firing through the next of these just so that we can save some time. Tarot of the Fairy Folk. This is one of those low Scarabeo decks that I had considered putting in last week's video, but no, had to be saved for this one. I love this guy, which is so funny because I think for a lot of people, the Tarot of the Hidden Realm has so much more like visual depth. This is really just like a little goofy pip deck with like varying types of Fae creatures on it, but this one is so clever. I have a full walkthrough of this deck on my channel, kind of going into the court cards as well because they're fun and clever and very good. It's kind of like it's got like a thothy flair as well to it in the like. They're pips, but they also have, there's a little extra there to them, which is great. This tower card's fun. I love the majors in this. This is such a fun, the art style as well is deep and rich, and the contrasting tones, the color palette, it's all my cup of tea. Yeah, you'll see there's astrological symbols in each of the courts. That is, are they written? They usually, yeah, she's got a Taurus on her head. But that's like, because it's the Knight of Swords, it's not a Taurus card. But what it does is it encapsulates that little 10-day crossover between each of, like when you look at a deck and wheel, each of the court cards has 10 days in the next suit. So that's why or not suit, zodiac sign. So anyway, it's interesting. I've never seen a deck do that before, and it's fun, and it's just like a little, like the energy of Taurus is hidden within the Gemini-ness of it all, of the Knight of Swords, and that's something that it's important to be considered. You know, like when you look at your birth chart, when you run your birth cards and that sort of thing, you'll get a court card that's associated with you. And sometimes, like for me, for example, my court card is the Knight of Pentacles, where it's like, what? I'm a Leo. Like, what's that guy doing there? But because there's the decan crosses between zodiac signs, and I'm the last of the three decans, but my birthday may be in Leo, but that Knight of Pentacles covers that part of Leo season, which is very interesting. So anyway, it's fun and it's good and it's cute and it's like, it's kind of like scary and like a little bit unsettling in some cards, while like, it's not like, this isn't like your children's fairy deck like you would expect. And it reads really well for me. It's a great one to just like pick up and be able to read with. There's not too much going on that you have to like rake your brain through. it's still like, that's still the Seven of Cups. We've got a bit of debauch going on. A little bit of, you see her, this little kind of greasy water creature. You can picture like the, the overflowing green goobly cups in the Thoth deck. It's kind of, it's there a little bit. Judgment. I love this Judgment card as well. Like, she's walking through and all of the little zombie Nomi guys are coming out of the ground. It's perfect. It's an awakening. So good. Anyway, I thoroughly enjoy. And I think the pages are all seasons associated with each of them, if I remember correctly. But anyway, yeah, like, what? The Bone Collector for death? Isn't that's the stuff of nightmares. And I love that. So yeah, with this deck too, like, because it's so, like, the spreads, each one is different. You never know what you're going to get. If you get a spread of majors, it's like, oh, but then you throw some minors and some courts in there, it's a wild time. And that's how I feel like working with the Fae is. It's a wild time. Anyway, I love this one. This one's so good. Sorry, it's by Jashito Jazenzi and Rachel Paul. Sorry, I've said that far too many times and I forgot. But yeah. And it's good. And this was, I think there was like a Tarot of Gnomes back in the day that our bits and pieces come from. There was a Majors Only deck. Like, I think they have been like kind of cobbled together and smooshed together from varying other decks that existed. Like older Los Scarabeo ones with like titles and stuff. But I think this iteration is wonderful and great. There's too much oops, but yeah. Anyway, it's a good one. It's gonna stay. So yes, Tarot of the Fairy Folk. I love it. And if you're curious to know a little bit more about it, there is a full, like, hour-long walkthrough on it on the channel. Okay. Another relatively recent one is the Paulina Tarot. This is an older US Games deck. Again, one that probably could have made its way into the last video. It's by Paulina Fae. It's on the better US Games older cardstock. I'm a sucker. I need to know what year this was. 2008, and then this reprint was 2017. So yeah, it's an older deck. It's fun, it's whimsical, it's very pen and ink with watercolors, which is very reminiscent of like the Rackham Tarot and the art styles of those kind of decks that just make me deeply happy, which I enjoy. The backs are fun and soft and pretty, and it feels distinctly like Fae realm to me as well. And it reads really, really well. It's got kind of a whimsigoth feel about it too. Yeah. There's a lot going on, but it's still quite clear. It's a little bit spooky, a little bit witchy, but still being earthy and connected to the land. It's very scenic and active. Each card kind of, you can read the energy of the cards just wildly easily on this one. And it's a good one. Definitely my favorite of Paulina Fae's or Paulina Cassidy's decks entirely. And this is one for me. And it's funny because sometimes when you hit on a deck creator that has multiple decks out, you either find the one that you like and you're satisfied and you don't want to look at the others, which is what I am with this one. Or sometimes you're like, ooh, I like them so much, I want to try everything. And then you end up with like a collection of all of the deck creators' decks, this is a problem I have with another creator, which we will come up on in a day or so, which we will need to do something about, because it, in that case, turned out to be not a problem, but there's really, like, you use the favorites and the rest of them just kind of hang out. Long story short, this card specifically is what got me. I think it was a Tarot Roundup I talked about it, but there was a photo of this moon card, which I recreated in the video live in real time for you guys. But it was like, yes, I need this deck. It was incredibly beautiful, and it was just the mood and the vibe I was in at the time, and I was like, that's it, that's the one. And I wasn't wrong. So anyway, yeah, this is my Paulina deck. It's very Fae to me. It sits happily in this category. It's not necessarily tied to a specific season either. I can use it all year round. So anyway, it's super good. And I really shouldn't go into too much detail about each of these decks because I wanted to make this a concise video. So here we are. I'll just do a quick little flip through. It's a delight and a joy. And I like it. So it's going to stay. Alrighty. Next in the pile is probably the first Fae deck I ever bought. This was actually I've had this for a long time. It was in that first flush of me finding decks, like where you're intensely looking at every deck that ever existed to find the one that's for you. This was one of the first ones I picked up. It's called The Tarot of the Secret Forest, and it is by Luca Mattioli. It is so cool. This tarot traces a path to the heart hidden in nature. A magical place can be found in the soul of each of us. Yes, absolutely. Each arcanum is portrayed twice, in color on the front and in black and white on the back. 2 sides that give the tarot a new dimension. A very interesting mechanic for a tarot deck. I will say, I have never used it like this. These are just the backs to me. It's interesting because it's like they were drawn twice, because it's not like it was like a sketch first for each of the cards, because some of them are slightly different too. Or maybe they were the underpainting. I don't know. It's very interesting. But I don't, like, some people would, like, shuffle them back to front in so that you'd have some from, like, this side and some from this side. I guess, in a way, this also doubles as a black and white deck, which I should have considered and included it in my black and white decks video, which would have been so funny. Actually, I guess we could do it this way so you could see both sides as I flip through. The color, the depth of tone, the atmosphere, the kind of very loose brush stroke painting, kind of subtle, mildly distant depictions of Fae energy is perfect. This might be one of my absolute favorite Fae decks as well. Like, just everything about it looks stunning in a spread, reads really well. I love it so much. It's so good. I've also edged it in black because you have to. When a deck is edged, like, it's got a black border on the front and back, if you don't edge it in black, it's a crime and the tarot police come and get you. So, oh, yeah. Look at that. That judgment card is really good. Yeah. Oh, these are so, and sometimes you don't quite know what's going on in them. The details are very hazy and unclear, but at the same time, the colors being so strong and full of depth and richness. Oh, no, they're just so good. I love them. This is such a good deck. I feel like it's one of those ones that I want to see more around. So I need to do a better job of sharing it around. Excellent death card. Excellent strength card. It's the symbols and numbers again, like, you know, Arlo Scarabeo decks tend to do. But it just reads so well. It's so comforting. It's so lovely, and it is Fae. In that, like, you're not sure if you saw it or not while you're walking in the woods. You know, it's like, it's a feeling. This deck encapsulates a feeling first, and then the character second. Sometimes you do a double take, like, was that? A little chariot card. Yeah. Like, did I see it? Was it there? Or did I just make it up in my mind? And does it matter? You know? I don't know, I love it. It's so good. Cute little hangman. There's a pin in him. Or her. Them. Yeah. Yeah, I love this little guy. And it was me, like, reflecting on that time from the present moment of me now. I'm very proud of myself for initially finding such a good one so early on. Like, I'm like, yeah, you had good taste. Good job. Well done. Which makes me a little bit annoyed that I don't use it more. Oh, look at that. So pretty. Yeah, they're incredible. I love them. Like, this is the kind of art I would hang on my walls. So nice. Wow. And because it's, yes. So, anyway, I will stop gushing because it's probably annoying, but I really like this one. And as I said, you could shuffle them back to front, so you got some forward, some backward, and that could mean, you know, reversed, or maybe that particular aspect of the question you asked has a more black and white answer, or is you know, more murky the other way around. It's up to you how you set your mechanics of the decks you use, but for me it's just an interesting alternative to deck backs. Maybe, like, it's there. In the future I could use it that way, but for now I don't. For now I usually just use it regularly. But it's nice to have. So, Tarot of the Secret Forest. One of my faves. Love it so much. Oh, okay. Another recent one. We can actually bang these out together. There's 2 here. I purchased the Victorian Fairy Tarot. Ooh. within the year. Anyway, it was after the Kickstarter, so I did not get it kickstarted. I actually found it at a local metaphysical shop. They had like it's the big box set, and you get like some little journal pages, which I need to bust out actually. Some might fit in some of my journals. A little silk reading cloth, hardcover, like gilded book. It's amazing. This is a wonderful set. If you like this deck, the fact that this set exists is miraculous, truly. It's an older deck that was republished. Victorian Fairy Tarot, Linnea Weatherstone, and Carrie Paris, and then art by Gary A. Lippincott. This one is when people talk about like the like little tiny Victorian humans with wings type of fairies. This deck is that. So if you don't like that kind of fae, then you're not going to enjoy this deck. However, I find it a welcome break. Not that I need a break from it, but it's a joy. I think this is probably the closest to that cozy grandma deck, like that we all look for. But yeah, I definitely feel like this one does what I wanted that cozy grandma deck to kind of do. Maybe that's just, I don't know, my experience with my grandmother. But yeah, it feels very safe, I guess. But still whimsical and fun. And does definitely hold the energy of the fae within it. And I've been using it lately as a weekly pull. So for the last few months, I've been pulling a card a week. The suits are seasons, which is nice if you kind of work with seasonal energy and can read, not just work with seasonal energy, but be able to read with seasonal energy, right? Like it's the whole, in the context of a reading, what does it being winter mean in the context of your question, or, you know, what you're looking to know. So yeah, I've really enjoyed having one of these cards as a weekly energy. The little blurb in the guidebook is just nice and lovely, and I don't know, it's just been working really well, and I've been enjoying that quite a bit. So obviously, with that being said, this one is not going to be going anywhere. And let me see if I can find you my favorite card. Well, here it is. It's the Goblin Market for the Devil, which I love. And actually, I've been getting this one quite a bit. And you know what? It's fine. It's beautiful. I can picture myself there so easily with this card. It's just so fun. So, yeah. That's the Victorian Fairy Tarot by Linnea Weatherstone et al. And then the kit also came with a little mini guy, which for a fleeting moment I was like, well, I don't need both. But like it's still in order, it still needs broken in. But at the same time, it's so new. Like it would be dumb to get rid of it at this point. And I feel like if I were to, you know, my brain immediately goes to, it'll be a wonderful travel deck, which it would be. And I love a small little pocket guy, so yeah, it would be dumb for me. Just because I haven't used it yet, because I have this, I think it's gonna stay. Together with the kit and everything, and then I feel like I will have the opportunity to use this little one in future. I just haven't yet. And yeah, it's even in like a little lovely 2-piece box for a mini. Oh, it's just so cute. Adore. So yeah, Victorian Fairy Tarot. So glad that it's back. It arrived at precisely the correct time that I needed it. So yeah, these two. I'm gonna hang around. We'll do another 2 at a time to save some time. This one, many of you may recognize by how tightly the bag is tied. But yeah, I like to tie that bag quite tightly so that the little critters on the inside do not get out without my permission. You can see if they've tried to escape or not. This is Brian Froud's Fairies Tarot, obviously. And next to it, we have the Heart of the Fairy as well, another Brian Froud Fairy Oracle. Very unique, iconic Oracle decks at this point within the community. These guidebooks, I believe, are essential with these ones because it's really just a title and an image, which you could get a little bit out of, but the bulk of the enjoyment and resonance and the practicalness of the message of each of these cards, which is it was incredibly well thought out, by the way, and experienced. Just even like read the intro of the book; it's so good. But it's all tied to its relation to the book. So usually I would be the kind of person who doesn't like being tied to a guidebook, but for this deck, it's worth it because it feels so. These decks, sorry, they are separate ones, even though in my brain they both show up in the same kind of place, but they are wildly different in use. but they're also very much the same, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I do quite enjoy it, and I do think I do have reversals in this one because the reversal it's fairly important. But yeah, I love them. And it's funny because I always think I should. Like, oh, this was such and such a deck would pair so well with the Brian Froud Fairies decks. But I often don't. I find these ones work just fine on their own. They're usually enough. It's a fleshed out enough Oracle deck that if you're the kind of person who is a little intimidated by tarot but still want to work with like Fae energy, something like this it would fill your cup. It is all you would need. Lots to chew on, lots to think about, to unpack and expand. Ooh. And this is another one that has a very distinctive auditory noise that plays in my head when I look at it, which is lovely. Yeah, there's just a lot of depth and meaning and purpose and understanding and joy and fun and comfort and all of those good things about what it means to live, kind of wrapped up in the stories of the creatures and all of these cards. Another good kind of weather vane deck as well. It does a fine job of answering questions, but I think more importantly, the more open-ended the question, the more like just being in an open and seeking space, specifically with this one, those kind of inquiries work better with this and like all Oracle decks as well, unless it's like a straight up like 8-ball kind of deck, you know? Which I have a couple of, which we'll talk about later. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Familiar faces. Both of these. Yeah? Yeah. Yes. Look at him. Look, he's got tarot cards. Many thoughts. Okay. Anywho, these two. These two are here. Enjoy greatly. Not going anywhere. Part of the fam. Let's have a quick look at this little guy. This is the Forest Fae Curious Messages of Enchantment little tiny deck by Nadia Turner. These are so cute. And I would love like a full-sized like tarot oracle with these. But for being just like cute and quick little messages to kind of pull on the go, like occasionally I'll just pull one of these out and I will leave it on. Do you remember that little the little shrine that I made out of clay for a candle? I'll pop it up there because they fit really well. They just like sit in that little thing with the candle really well. But they're so, I don't know, we're in as far as we can go. They're very small. They're lovely and just so nice. And just, you know, it's another one that I don't ask a lot of. Just a nice little message. Very grounding. I just enjoy having them around. But yeah, I wouldn't go to these with like a serious problem or like a big complex question that needs answered. They're kind of just want something to roll around in your brain for a little while. One of these is nice. Or to set the mood for the day, create a tone. Little reminders from worlds beyond our own. Anywho, it's not big. Oh, that was the first card I ever got, and he stalks me, and I love him. Oh, go boy. But yeah, that's it. Those are all of them. But it's nice. So this was one for a split second. I'm like, well, maybe I don't need it anymore. But after going through it, it's like, no, yes, actually, there's no reason to not have. So it stays, little friend. Next on the list is this guy. You may recognize. This is one I talked a lot about in the olden days. The good olden days. I used it a lot then. And this deck is tricksy. There's a little hunk of quartz in there. This is the Tarot of the She by Emily Carding. This one, it reminds me of a specific time in TarotTube as well. This is one of those ones that has like a marker of of time attached to it. I love the she spiral. It's there's a lot. It feels very spicy. Yeah, this one's fun. This was one I also I did the assessment in my brain. Is this one that maybe I don't need anymore? I've also kind of ruined it because I've written the elemental associations on all of the cards, particularly because it's not super clear what suit the minors are. It's, yeah, so that's, like, Dancer 5 is the 5 of Cups, so it was hard for me to remember that the dancers were cups. Warriors for fire made kind of sense. Dreamers for air. A dreamer can fit in, like, a cup space for me as well, so there was also kind of that to contend with. So I've, in a nice shiny silver Sharpie, written on all the cards. And I've also edged it in black, so yes, consider this deck thoroughly made mine. But this is one that whenever I do a reading with it, the cards are very unassuming. And I think it's sort of like, this was the first image she drew, which I either read in this guidebook or somewhere else. An interview with her, Emily Carding, about the creation of this. It was supposed to be a Christmas card that kind of ended up morphing into this one image that became the Temperance, and that's kind of what triggered for her the idea that this could be a tarot deck, and thus it kind of grew from there. So it's just very interesting the way it kind of came about, but I think there's a lot more in here than perhaps meets the first glance. It kind of has, you know how I was talking about the Flarkos tarot? It has a little bit of that feel about it, but a little bit less airy, more earthy perhaps overall. But this one, when I do readings with it, it always, I don't know, the synchronicities are like weird. It's like too on the nose. It's a little bit, especially if I'm doing one of those active readings when you just like continually ask questions and pull cards. There was one time I was doing that and there was music on in the background that had lyrics, and each card I was pulling was like exactly mirroring the lyrics that were happening in the song at the time. It was crazy. It was wild. It was one of the weirdest experiences I've had with the deck. So definitely this is going to stay then. Yeah. I do a nice dark black edges, black border aesthetic kind of deck. Suits me just fine. I love how it looks. And I think this is one that when I need it, it will be a welcome friend to have come out again. But yeah, it's been a while since I have used it because I've had, as you see, an influx of Fae Decks lately. But I think this is, you know, one that kind of helped solidify my penchant for looking in that direction for guidance and wisdom. And it's so nice. Love it. So nice. Keywords are handy also. So yeah. That's that one. And it will also stay. Which I can confirm, now having had it pass through my grubby little paws. Sometimes it's just good to know. Because sometimes, especially if you haven't picked up a deck in a while for whatever reason, whether you've been like gone for, like, I found this also that when I went away for a couple of weeks. I got back and everything felt kind of foreign to me because it's just been so long since anything had been in my hands. So like just forming an opinion of a deck by just looking at the outside box for so long really, I think, is done better by like just opening it up and flipping through it, because the inside of a deck always feels way different than what you think the outside of the box is. I think this next one will be a good example of this. For Haka Tarot by MJ Cullinane, same creator as the Crow decks we talked about a few videos ago, the Urban Crow Tarot, or the Urban Crow Oracle and the Crow Tarot. This is a kind of Fae universe deck that she created, and this is the indie version, but it is available mass market from Hay House if it is one that strikes your fancy. This is one that I have, like, I don't pick up all too often, and I have a bad habit of just kind of associating how I feel about the deck with the box, which is beautiful, but it's just kind of like the image of the deck I have is of the box instead of the actual feeling of using the deck, which is an indication I need to use it more. I've edged it in this really pretty teal color, which kind of pulls on the teal of the backs. It is a gorgeous deck, but it's one that has its own little world, much like the Tarot of the She. Kind of, they've got their own little world that you kind of use the deck when you either are invited to or have a hankering to visit said world. And it's like this, the beings in this world encompassed in this deck are the lens through which your tarot messages come. And if you're not in a place where you necessarily want their opinion on things, then this is not the deck to kind of pick up and grab in that moment, I guess. That's how I experience working with it anyway. So, yeah, they're doing their own thing. They're having their own little adventures. They're living their own little lives within the pages, the loose leaf pages of this deck. And then when you're ready, you can kind of explore that. But it's almost like when you close the deck up and put the box back on the shelf, they're still like going about their business within inside all on their own. It's beautiful. It's almost too colorful for me. It's like, cards like this as well kind of are a little bit jarring. I prefer the more like earthy, desaturated, neutral jewel tones, you know? But it's all part of the way the deck is structured. It is beautiful though. But I think this is one that I do tend to pick up more seasonally than others. This is like even though there are cards that take place throughout the year seasonally, this for me feels like a spring deck. Especially with cards. There's crocuses all over. Yeah. But yeah, it was one I was considering being like, maybe my time with her is done, but I don't think so. We're nowhere near spring. Ask me again next spring, then I'll tell you whether or not that was it. It's lovely. And upon reflection, I'm very glad that it's here. But yeah, this is also because of its storytelling elements that are covered in the guidebook. It's not really super good for Mountains of Cards reading. It's more for like a couple cards. Like, I mean, you could just read this like any Seven of Cups ever, right? But at the same time, like the beauty of the deck is encompassed in the kind of prose of the guidebook. So use however you choose, but for me, it's one I like to just pull a couple cards with. But when I need a mountain of cards, it's a deck I don't consider. Anyway, that's the Haka. And I think, yeah, it's a little faded now. I anointed this one. It smelled of cedar and sandalwood for a while, but I believe the oil hath since worn off, so she needs another coat. And if you're ever curious about how to anoint decks, it's really easy. You can either just put the oil on your hands and run your finger around the outside of the deck, cardstock withstanding, depending on if it's the kind of cardstock that would absorb and take oil nicely. Or you can literally just put it in the box. So a couple of drops of essential oil in the box, keep it in the box, thus has been anointed. Or you can be super crazy like me, and sometimes I'll put the oil on my hands and then just like rub it all over each side of the card too, if you're not too concerned about, you know, keeping your decks pristine forever. So anyway, that's fun. Easy to do. We've all got oils kicking around, but just a good way to connect with your deck as well. Yeah. Okay, let's do this one next. Because, okay, this is not entirely a Fae deck, but I probably should have talked about this one in the last video of Low Scarabeo decks, but I forgot because it's in one of these boxes, and it's a new one, so it's not sitting with where the rest of the other ones live. Anyway, long story short, this is the Under the Oak Tarot, and by Sir Offred Strega de la Mele, and it's so fun. Here are the backs. It's kind of a hodgepodge. It's got, it's another one that follows a story through the majors and each individual minor suit. The main character kind of is, in one way or other, either physically or spiritually present in each of the cards, and it's kind of how they go about working through the energies of the cards. They start each of the suits, like the fire, earth, air, and water, as well as the majors it's unable to see, and then once they, you know, the fool's journey through each of those is, you know, her gaining the ability to perceive in this world. But it's also interesting in a reading context, being able to, you know, see how much of your question you're able to comprehend based on the level of understanding the character has in the card. So anyway, it's super fun. There's bits of Greek mythology and Roman mythology thrown in. There's bits of Celtic mythology. There's like an earthly underground. Someone told me in the comments when I was talking about the video who it was, but there is a reference to that particular set of myths. And then what was the last one? Yeah, those guys. 4 suits. What's the last one? Oh, Norse. Yes. Yeah, the swords are all Norse mythology, and there's runes kind of all over them, which I've been meaning to learn runes. I've got a very loose, basic understanding of runes. So whether they've been intentionally inscripted on each of the swords cards, or if it's just, that's the thing with runes. Some people just decorate cards and images with them, and other people use them very intentionally. And it's hard to know what it was. But because yeah, runes are very easy to like make something. You just slap some runes on something to make it look witchy. But then like, were they intentionally chosen for their meaning? You know, was that bind rune created on purpose, or was it just used because it looked cool? That's a gripe I have with runes. But at the same time, heck, if you're the kind of person who's trying to keep the actual meaning a little bit secret, that's the point of symbols sometimes, is to, you know, kind of put a veil or a mask over top of your intentions while putting the energy out into the world. That's a good way to do it too, I guess. Yeah, there's another one down there. But yeah. Oh, it's good. I like it. And this one, again, is one that's relatively new, so I need to work with it a little bit more. This is one that I feel like I will use for a time. This is like a use for a season type of deck for me. I don't think, like, I like it now. It'll be fun for a while, but I feel like it might not have the like lasting power of something more deep and intense that feels a different certain way for me. But there's nothing wrong with having decks for a time. You know? So anyway, that's just initially my judgment on it from where I'm sitting right now. There's a Haka right now too. Lovely. Yeah, I foresee down the line future versions of me deciding that it'll be time to move this on. But for right now, I like it. And it's fun to use, and I'm going to keep it around for a while. Also feels lovely. This is the first Lo Scarabeo deck I've ever had that's had this like snappy, shushy matte cardstock, and I like it. I'm not super in love with the gilding, but it's fine. It'll do. I enjoy. So yeah, that is the Under the Oak Tarot. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, let's do a couple oracles. And then the kind of dark fae-ish. They're a stretch. They're just kind of me slapping that title on them, and I needed to put them somewhere. And then we will get into our Jasmine Becket Griffith decks, and then I'll free you from my clutches for the day. Queen Mab Oracle. This one's lovely. This is a Tess Whitehurst deck. And I say lovely, but it's Queen Mab, Fairy Queen, shows up in Shakespeare. Is kind of there's a feminine empowerment kind of slant to the messages in these cards, which sometimes I need. It's interesting that it comes from a fae perspective, and sometimes some of the cards don't feel super fae to me, but there's like a thread of it that kind of runs through it. So this deck lives with the Fae decks. I don't think I would use it. What have I been pairing this with? I paired it with something. What was it? Probably one of my more dark decks, actually, because a lot of these cards have like a layer of mystery, darkness, kind of hidden pain. It reminds me, there's like a quote. Something about how much pain it took for me to be this kind. You know? Like, you've had to have been through a lot to be able to treat the world gently and nicely. Feels a little bit like what this deck feels like to me. Yeah, it's got a little bit of feminine mystery about it, which I enjoy. Yeah, it's an interesting take on Fae. Yeah, definitely very feminine empowerment as well. So, is good for a time as well. I like it. And she does live on the Fae shelf. It's a Blue Angel deck, so it's big, it's matte. It's a little difficult to shuffle. I kind of have to side shuffle it, but that's just fine. There's two different artists that worked on this one. So anyway, she's nice. She's gonna stay. And the other fairy oracle that I have that's also a Blue Angel deck is the Fairy Forest one by Lucy Cavendish, an oracle of the wild green world. And I think this one's going to stay too. Very much, this one and the Queen Mab feel very same in my brain to me. Like they're just like a different visual version. Let's do this. There we go. So this one, that other one was darker, a little bit more mysterious, mystique type of feel about it. This one is a little bit more grounded and earthy, kind of tree women and seasonal attached folk. And this one feels a little bit more Fae. Specifically, we have winged ladies in it as well. And this one, without just being the title, it has keywords on it as well, which makes it a little bit more useful. The other one, it's a pull one card at the end of a reading kind of deck. This one I can do in a more pairing sort of way with like a couple of tarot on the side, which it works well with a lot of the other fairy decks too that are here. But it's fun. It's very fantasy. This one feels very whimsical, fantasy, pretty and fun. Fairy forest. I like it. Yeah. And it's one that's here. But this one, for me, it's like, the fact that they are individuals. When you pull a card, it's that individual and their particular message for you that is poignant at the time. It's like sticking your head into another world and being like, hey, I got a question. And then whoever pops up is the one to deliver it. And I love it. So good. I love that card. My gosh. I've said it before. I'll say it again. That is what I look forward to looking like when I'm an old lady. So ready for it. But yeah, Fairy Forest by Lucy Cavendish. It's fun. Might be another one that I keep for a time, because there have been. I've been through quite a few other Fae decks that didn't stand the test of time, and they've moved on, but that's okay. This is one that's going to be here for now. Okie dokie, let's do some darker ones. Let's look at the Arthur Rackham Oracle. The original Arthur Rackham Oracle, which is annoying that he called it that. But anyway, I like the deck. This deck its creation was kind of muddled in controversy, or just in a little bit of petulance as well. I don't even know if Deck Swoop's still a thing, but you can get this deck, or you could, on the website, and there was a couple of different backs you could pick. I chose this one. We love a pilgrim in this house. Yes, petulance and I don't know, this deck has a sass about it. The cards are a little bit more negative than perhaps one was used to, but you kind of know that going into it. And I love the like wordy keywords that the creator picked for it. The other decks that he's made leave like morally questionable, blah, blah, blah. I've talked about this in past. It's so far long ago, I think it doesn't even really matter anymore. Not a lot of people talk about their decks anymore. It's fine. I really like the keywords, and you guys know I'm a sucker for Arthur Rackham's art, and I like the tarot. I wanted the oracle to go with it. But it's funny because this particular creator did not necessarily enjoy that the other tarot existed. There was words thrown around, thoughts of copying, etc., etc. Even though they're wildly different. One's a tarot, this is an oracle. It's a weird world we live in. But anyway, I have both, and I like both, and I kind of use them. It's funny, for containing a lot of the same art, the two decks in hand feel very like wildly different to me. Like the Rackham Tarot has more of like a comforting feel about it, whereas there's petulance in it. There's sass. There's a little bit of desolation between the cards, which is fine sometimes, useful in the context of reading. It's just interesting how art from the same artist can feel so different in different like deck contexts. But yeah, quackery here, like that's an interesting card. Professional incompetence to come up like in a reading. They work really well. Anxiety, undercurrent, unforeseen forces at work, connectedness, first light, awakening. You have but slumber to hear while these visions did appear, which is a quote from Shakespeare. Midsummer Night's Dream. Guidance, alliance, shadow, curiosity. Give me some big ones. Consequence, providence, perseverance, perseverance, subversion, stability, creative power, courage. Let me find one. Oh, there's some significators in here too, male and female, which is nice. Deception, cautery, kindred spirits, decline, regrets, intuition, transmutation. Anyway, it's fun. Even just, I haven't used it in a while, and I'm like looking at it being like, oh yeah, covetousness, like these reads so well. Insight, I think, and it is, although there is like negativity and petulance and a little bit of the desolation about it, there is little silver linings of hope within it, so it's nice. Sometimes it's really good, and I'm annoyed that it's good. Anyway, that's the Arthur Rackham Oracle, 2nd edition. There was a 12-page booklet somewhere. I think it's long gone. It didn't have much in it, but you don't need a book with this. It's super clear and really easy to read. So anyway, that's that one. It'll stick around. Another one that's Fae adjacent, Black Lily Tarot. I think another reason I grabbed it for this video is I just don't know where other category I have lined up that it would slot into nicely. And come to think of it, it does have a little bit of fayness about it, but maybe not. I don't know. But it's another one that's curious. Nice, lovely little pocket deck as well. Sorry, it's by Aya Rosen. Sorry, not Actus Bauman. That's the next one. Aya Rosen is the Black Lily Tarot deck. It's, again, one that's very vibey. The imagery in the cards isn't super clear as to its tarot message. Like strength, there's a lion present, is good. Hanged man person upside down. But otherwise, a lot of the minors are really pippy. But that's fine. I do like a pip deck. I don't know. It has... There's darkness. All of the women in these images have been through it. Been through something. It's almost like a little... It's giving like Sylvia Plath a little bit, you know? Like a wild and untamed depression. As your mind wanders in the darkness. That's kind of what it feels like, maybe. Very useful in a reading context as well, but that's probably another reason why I don't pick it up a whole lot, is because there's a darkness, a desperation about it. Anxiety and unpleasant experiences. So I feel like if you're the kind of person looking to connect with a deck that looks like it's been through the same things you have, this might be one to look into. But yeah, it's really good. So I'm going to keep it around. Whether it officially did belong in the Fae deck category, I'm not sure, but it's here and we talked about it today. So yeah, Black Lily Tarot. It says Major Arcana Tarot deck, but it's a full one. Maybe it was a Majors Only before, and that's the old cover. But yeah, it's got it all. And this is another fave. And this is a deck that I will forever and always talk about how good it is, because it's so good. It's the Kimmonette deck. Some people call it the Shea Monet deck. Also fine. I think the creator, I know her name, come on brain. Oh, where was it? It used to be on the top of my head. Eden Gallanter. I believe she has somewhere, in an interview somewhere, said that it was officially called the Kimmonette deck, but I'm not, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's officially how to pronounce it, but you can call it whatever you like. These are the backs. So cute. Very painterly. Very, like, otherworldly figures going about their business. The guidebook on this little guy is so good. I love how she explains and illustrates and experiences the energy of tarot. There's 3 world cards. All of them are wonderful, so I kept them all in. Broke my own rules. Ooh. There's elements of some cards that show up in other cards. Little nods back to other areas of the tarot. There's certain characters that pop up here, there, and everywhere. There's these little demonic sprites. The court cards are all portraits, but they're evocative to me. Like I can read them, as opposed to like the ones in the Tarot of the Hidden Realm just didn't speak to me. Whereas these feel more like something I can interpret and understand. So this is a good one. Perhaps slept on. I'm assuming it's still available. It might not be. I've had it for a very long time, but it's one of my faves. And it's one that I need to use more. This pairs really well with the Marielle as well. A wild combo, but it does. If you want a punchy combo, those two together will knock your socks off. Anyway, love this one. Super good. But like, did you get like the otherworldly, like human but not really feel about the characters, the figures in this land of tarot? Ooh, okay, yes, now it's good. Yep. She stays. Joy and a treat. And the last of our, like, dark kind of fae, but not really decks. You can see why these three kind of all go together. The Black Lily, the Kimmonette, and the Outgrow Yourself Tarot Oracle by Actus Bombin. Yeah, this one is so good. I've talked about it up and down. Use it in Garden Arcana. It's a little thothy as well, but not enough for me to put it in the esoteric decks category. It has thoth keywords and a little bit of thoth imagery, but it really, the bulk of the magic of this deck comes from this up here, which is a little phrase that encompasses the energy of the card as well as the attitude of this little miss who's on all of them. It's so good. Princess of Swords. Speak free and true. So you can see how it would be classed as an oracle based on this, but with the oracle messages stemming from the tarot meaning, it makes it a tarot, so it's both. It's the everything deck. Cultivate your garden on the Empress. Absolutely. It's really good for journaling prompts, though, too. And it's a good jumping off point for pulling more cards. The death card is Blossom. Hide your secret under a tree for the devil. It's so good. Yeah. A lovely little darling. She is. Yeah, this one's a treat and a joy to use. And it's kind of, it's straight to the point. No muss, no fuss. She tells you like it is. She doesn't coddle you, this deck. This deck will not, like, it's for growth. It's not for, if you're in a place where you're moving through something, you want to grow up and out of it instead of kind of like stewing in a place of rumination. If this, like, this deck is a kick in the butt. But in like a, I love you so much, I'm gonna give you a kick in the butt kind of way. Best way to describe it. So good. Yeah, that's the Outgrow Yourself Tarot Oracle Deck of Wonders. And she'll be staying, clearly. This box has also been through it, but that's okay. Just means it's used and loved. Okie dokie. So that was the Fae section. I think we did good time wise. I don't know. I go through like a time warp when I'm doing these videos, and what I think was only a half an hour was actually like 2. So also my candle leaked recently. It should be okay. I'll have to keep an eye on it so it doesn't leak too much more. Just, if that starts leaking all over the table, tell me, okay? Thanks. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Jasmine Becket Griffiths. It's a hard one for me to say. Her deck's next. And we're going to start, I guess we'll start with this. The tarot that I have for her. And it is none other than Julie at Peekaboo Roses. Notorious JBG tarot deck. I keep it in this lovely little bag with this cute little piece of rose quartz in the shape of a heart that Julie gave me. I did buy the deck though. It's available on Make Playing Cards if you're interested. It has a ton of extra cards, so you pick and choose which ones to kind of make. Like, I don't know, there's like 15 or 20 different cards that have different options. to pick as that particular version. It's a compilation of the public domain artwork by Jasmine Becket Griffith. A few years ago, she made all of her art, basically all her backlog of art into public domain art. So there's a few people who have made their own tarot decks based on it. And it translates surprisingly well. Anyway, Julie's is my favorite. I used to have the mass market tarot deck called the Beautiful Creatures Tarot, which is I forget who's the publisher. Might have been Schiffer. It was like a bigger deck with shiny purple edges. It was all right, but the core cards weren't my favorite. Julie's deck fit more with how I wanted a JBG tarot to be, so I kept it, and then I got rid of the other one. And this pairs with all of the oracles surprisingly well, works well on its own. And you know I love a pocket deck, like it's the perfect size. I need to edge it in purple though, I think. It'd be like a nice deep purple. Would be nice, but yeah, this is my one and only JBG, Jasmine Becket Griffith tarot deck by Julie at Peekaboo Rose, who has an amazing and fun tarot channel if you're ever interested. She also has a doll channel for any of you other people who are like me and a little bit doll crazy too. Just throwing that out there. You can totally see why we would love these decks based on our hobbies. These are just like little Blythe dolls in disguise. But yeah, no, it's so fun. And it also speaks right directly to like the teenage / preteen version of me that was emotional and gothic and just felt like this all the time. It's such an inner teenager deck for me. Like that's its job. All of these JBG decks fill that inner teenager space for me, and that's an important space to kind of explore from time to time because she needs some attention too. The poor girl. Oh my gosh. So that is that one. We won't linger. I'm sure. I think Meg has a video comparing this to the other the Beautiful Creatures Tarot. If not, just a walkthrough of this one if you want to see all the cards. So I think it's really good. That's Meg at Rose Honey Ritual. Okay, let's get into the Oracle decks. We're going to start with, I think, it's on the bottom. Oh no. The one that I think is my favorite of her Oracle decks, which might come as a surprise if you know anything about them, but it's this one. I think this is my most useful and most enjoyed Jasmine Becket Griffith Oracle deck. It's the Oracle of Shadows and Light, which makes sense to me for a variety of reasons, but the structure of this deck is really nice. So all of these Oracle decks, they're all Blue Angel decks, and they all work with the huge backlog of artwork by Jasmine Becket Griffith. The guidebook is written by Lucy Cavendish, so if you're familiar with her guidebooks, they all kind of mean the same. But this deck for me, I need to edge this one too. Adds to the list. This one would look really good edged in black. It's got keywords or like a key phrase. I don't really use the guidebook because I get enough out of the cards. But it's these types of Oracle decks, again, keep in mind, inner teenager here. They're very kind of geared towards, anybody can use them, but I feel like the themes in the deck really resonate most with a younger version of me learning to be herself kind of in the world, right? And sometimes I need that energy as a full-grown adult, so that is just fine. But this one, there's a spread of different art styles from, like, all of these decks kind of have that. Some more than others, but I like them. I don't know, it just reads really, really well. And it has more uplifting cards, and it also has cards that, like, very gently kind of repairing yourself a little bit. Tell you what it's like. Time for change. To learn something new. Use technology and gadgets with wisdom. That's a put your phone down card if I've ever seen one. Yeah, intoxication, distorted view, overindulgence. Like, it's not afraid to tell you when you're being funny. But then you've got like a Power of 3 card with Witchy Sisters. So it's really good. And this is the older version. I don't know if it has a newer version on the like thicker Blue Angel matte cardstock. This is the old glossy one, but it's thin. I like it. It's nice. It feels correct to me. The Carnivorous Flower Fairy, a tempting offer, has a high price. I don't know, it's so good. I love that. This one's my favorite. Out trick-or-treating. We're here. It's Oh, it's fun. It's whimsical. It's so good. An important end, a new beginning. You miss someone. Pull some more cards on that. Feel it out, you know? A wonderful idea. An aha moment. From death comes rebirth. I think Kali's in at least one of the other ones here. Common chaos. It's time for a treat. Like, sometimes you get that. And that's what you need at the time. It's well-rounded. Shadows and Light is a great title for this deck. It's got a bit of both. It kicks you in the butt while holding your hand, I think. This one maybe is a good way to describe it. I love it. This is probably my favorite of the JBG Oracles. And it's going to stay, and it's making me want to use it again. I didn't pull it out this Christmas, or not this Christmas, this Halloween. But, like, I think, like, it's not just a Halloween deck. You can use this all year round, especially if you have more dark and gothic sensibilities about you. Anyway, I should leave it out, though, because I do need to edge it desperately. Yeah, so that's that one. Definitely still available from Blue Angel. Okay, let's do my next favorite, if we're doing it this way, and then at the end we can decide whether or not the last one is the one, like my least favorite one, if it's worth keeping. This way I'll have all the ones that I do like through my hands first, and then we will decide. That is a good plan, because there is one that I'm, like, considering maybe not. Le Vampire! I've edged this in a nice brown, woody brown, which is kind of fading. These Blue Angel decks kind of absorb the edging quickly. All of them except for one have their guidebook written by Lucy Cavendish. That's what makes the last one different. Okay, we'll see. That's very curious. I knew that. Okay, but this is kind of a vampire themed one. A little bit vampiric, a little bit dark, haunting. I love the artwork in this one is top notch. Super good. It's arguably more a beautiful deck than the last one I talked about. Just in, like, it's got a cohesive art style and a stronger theme from in the initial get-go. But the mechanics of that last deck, for me, work better. Because there's the balance of light and dark in that last one, it's more functional for me in a reading context, whereas this one, it's more universal. Each card has more of the same flavor. Some might lean a little bit more one way or the other, but it's not as clear. But that doesn't make it less good, it just makes it different. So beautiful. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was me in Virgos. Yeah. It's lovely. It's a good one. I need to use it more also. But yeah, these cards, same stands for all of them. They speak directly to my inner teenager. They do their job well. And they're really like a nice oracle deck, I guess. They haven't quite edged into goofy oracle deck territory. I have a few goofy oracle decks, which we will talk about later, which are fine. I love them. This one, it's like creeping towards goofy oracle deck territory, but for me, they're their own category. Jasmine Becket Griffith decks, they're like the oracles. They're like their own type of oracle deck that no other deck has been able to kind of emulate in any way. Oracles are so funny that way. Like, they can be anything. Like, there's no limitation to the parameters of the types of messages or where the messages come from or the structure of the deck. You can do anything. But all of these, they feel in the same family and they all kind of speak the same language but say different things. So yeah, this one's really good. And it's beautiful. My gosh, it makes some really pretty spreads. Yeah, ambition, extension, and reach. Mortal, finite, and fragile. Spreading of conditions, influence, and impact. Bitterness, grudge, refusal to let go. Catalyst, maker, mother, father. Witness, to know, personal evidence, to speak out. They're pretty intuitive. But yeah, like, you see how they're not as, like, distinctly, like, the shadow and light aspect of that other deck isn't necessarily clear here. They're all just kind of, they all sit in the same space, oracle message-wise. Discipline, the call of the night, psychic protection, envy, punishment, aggressor, Resurrection. Redemption. Yeah, it's good. I like it. It's a unique and wonderful little beast. And the guidebook, there's a lot in it if you wanted to read what Lucy has to say about each of the cards. Love that her name's Lucy. It fits well with that one. Anywho, that's gonna stay. Okay, next favorite. I think I'm gonna have to go with Alice next. Probably. Yes. Maybe only just because I probably used it more than the other ones. So this is an Alice-themed deck. Jasmine Becket Griffith painted a lot of Alice-related photos, images, not photos, paintings. And I'm starting to wonder, too, I can't remember off the top of my head right now if a lot of them were made specifically for this oracle, like with the intention of being part of an oracle, or she just really liked to paint Alice, and there was just a lot of little blonde girls with blue eyes getting up to trouble. But this is another one for kind of reparenting yourself as well. This is like the older version of you is giving the softer, younger version of you guidance in a way that is framed within the whimsical, imaginative world of a little child like Alice wandering through an unknown and unfamiliar land, which really is like any child growing up into the world. This weird place where things are upside down and backwards and you just kind of have to make your way through it. Become braver. Choices. Find the lesson. I love this. This is her, like, a rendition with, like, her art style of the characters in Las Meninas. I saw the painting. I saw it. It was at the Museo del Prado, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. There's a Nerdwriter video about it that's really good. But it's such an interesting painting, and it's so wild in real life. And there was, like, about 500,000 people standing in front of it looking at it in this one room. So good. Wow, sorry. A little personal tangent right there. But yeah. Use your time well. Set your course. Know where you wish to go. Have a plan. Follow your own good advice. It's always tea time. Keeping up. Lead the way. I feel like, even though, like, this is, for me, like, a little bit of, like, a helping guide that inner, younger version of myself through the world as an adult, you really can use this at any age. Like, they're not, it's useful information. That's just how I frame it as well. A little bit of, like, Bosch influences there. I love it. Oh my gosh, she's a genius. Do not drink poison. Do not do things you know are bad for you. I get this card all the time, and it's almost, like, rude. But I just love it. Yeah, this one's fun. So good. Stands the test of time. There's some more Bosch. Look! Oh. Could you picture Alice, like, wandering through a Bosch painting? Incredible. Nonsense. I don't know, it's just so lovely. Anyway, yes. I love this feeling. It's so nice to just, like, get to go through all of them. Like, it's intense. It's a lot. And actually, it's funny, after going through the decks in these videos, it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of thinking. It's a lot of emotions, a lot of thought, a lot of catching vibes. Usually when I'm done, I don't want to pick up a deck for a day or so. I just, like, give myself a break. Like, okay, that was a lot. But once I'm finished everything, I'm going to feel so much better about everything. I'm going to have a really solid grasp of the collection. I'm really excited about that. But right now it's a lot of emotional work, but it's also good to get to know them again by, like, just sitting with them and flipping through them instead of just looking at the outside of their box, which we talked about before. Anyway, another fun little tangent from me. Okay, we're so close, guys. There's only 3 decks left. You're doing so well. Next one is the Fairy Tale Oracle. Another little Lucy Cavendish. An Enchanted Oracle of Initiation, Mystery, and Destiny. This one is a little bit different than the other 2. In its own kind of unique way. This is another glossy, older one. Book by Lucy Cavendish. It leans on fairy tale in a really deep way. The messages from the fairy tales are heavy. They've got a lot of, like, Western idealism and, like, myth kind of woven into them based on the origin of fairy tales. And they're framed in a way, because they're fairy tales, for children to understand. And you got to watch it too, because in the way, fairy tales not only are a learning tool for children, but they're also quiet indoctrination as well. Not to like a religion or anything, but just to like the ways of the world you live in, so, or where you came from. In the case of the fairy tale. So these are fairy tales that we would be familiar with, very European based fairy tales, which is fine. It's a lot of what we grew up with. So it's really great for deconstruction work as an adult, going back and looking at them from a different perspective, and also knowing that, like, okay, these stories were told to me as a kid. Why were these stories told to me? What was the message it was trying to convey? Why was that important? Was it important then? Is it important now? Lots to think about. Fairy tales aren't just like fun little silly stories. It's like there's so much you can take apart from them as an adult with an education and a mind that refuses to be tamed. So, yes. These ones, with this one, I'm reliant on the book. We've got Thumbelina. There's one little keyword, expectations, but the bulk of what that story means in the context of a message, what the deck wants you to take away from it, is in the book. So this one, the other two decks that we talked about, there are 3 decks, sorry, the Alice, Slave Vampire, and Shadow and Light. I don't necessarily need the guidebook. With this one, I need the guidebook. And in that way, it's one that I really only, all of these really, it's like a 1-card pull at the end of a reading or on its own. Or like with a pair of tarot, like, or you pull 1 card and then do a tarot reading around it, but it's really, the focus is the 1 card. Because yeah, Princess and the Pea, sensitivity, like that seems like a really simple oracle card. But you start unpacking the stuff in the book and it's heavy and it feels like a lot. Or you could just use it as a simple oracle. You could just be like, oh, dedication. And then you pull that card and be like, you just need to spend more time doing what you love and putting the work in and showing up every day, blah, 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 blah. Like you could read it like that. You could read it like a easy oracle, or you could really take apart the message the Wild Swans have for you in this case. Danlin. I haven't used this one the most. I've used it more than the last one. I'm not familiar with all the cards, but the ones that ooh, oh no, there it goes. There it goes. Danger. Thanks for telling me about that. I got most of it. I think a hairdryer and some patience in the future will sort that out. A little piece of like craft paper to like melt and absorb. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be all right. Oh, it's a bit rough. Thanks for telling me about it though. That's so funny. I knew it was inevitable. And I also completely forgot what we were talking about. Probably just how a lot this deck could be, which is true. It can be a little, it can be a lot. And that's yeah. It is what it is. But I think there's just like so much in it that I haven't explored. I'm going to keep it around until I do. And it's beautiful. I love her art, which I've said for every one of these last ones. The goose girl. Look at me. Little Canada goose. And the 12 dancing princesses. Yeah. So that's the fairy tale oracle. An interesting one. If you want to do some hard work. And the last one we're going to talk about is the Myths and Mermaids Oracle of the Water deck. Art by Jasmine Becket Griffith. The book, though, is written with Amber Logan and Kachina Micheletto, and I think those are her sisters. Is that correct? I'm pretty sure the guidebook told me that. Which makes this deck a little bit special that they worked on it together. I think. Pretty sure. Here are the backs. This one commits the mortal sin of having landscape as well as portrait orientation cards. Like this. And then like this. But if you're just pulling 1 card, it's really not the end of the world. Like it annoys me a little bit, but it's also truly not the end of the world. This one, I don't feel as connected to, which is totally fine. But I'm considering letting it go. I did a pre-flip through it before just to make myself kind of, because I wasn't sure. Part of me wants to just like keep her with her sisters, all the other decks, like they belong together. And it is strictly a mermaid themed card deck. There's very watery sea elemental kind of energy about it. And some of them are really, like Venus and Cherubs here is really good. There's a Galatea card, which when it comes up, I will show you. They're beautiful. And Mermaid Energy is also something that is arguably Fae, water Fae, nymphy, something I like to work with. And this is the only mermaid themed oracle deck I have that could go with the next deck, which we'll talk about it real quick. We'll include it in this category because water Fae. But yeah, there's a couple of cards I really, really love, but a lot of them I'm very mid on. So I don't know if I just... There's one here, I'll show you. One second. I pulled it out. I stuck it in my little tarot journal because I love this card. I mean, I want to put this on my wall. This Alchemical Seas image with the caduceus and the little globe. It's so interesting. This card's so cool. With her little sea guys. And just her there with the light coming through the sky. Very Hyperion energy. I love it. So I was going to go back in here for right now. I'll show you guys my tarot journal later, as well as my other journal setups. I've made great breakthroughs in that department, by the way. It's incredible. But yeah, I've been keeping this around to use as an oracle deck. Oh, there's a Hammer Dryad card too. Like that's one that I would love to keep. That one's good too. It's very like, yeah, hit and miss. And I think also, I don't know, I'm just less drawn to it. But I will use it with this deck here, which is in a little Crown Royal bag. If you know, you know. It's perfect. My little pirate treasure bag. Dame Darcy's Mermaid Tarot, which is another favorite. Unique art style. We talked about the Witchy Cat by her in the Witchy decks. Otherwise, like this deck it defies categorization. I don't have any other, maybe calling it a clone would be the closest thing I could do. But I don't have a lot of decks that are like this. But I would pair it with this one for that mermaid energy through and through. So what we would do is we would do this, and then this, and then we would do this. And then that's how I would read it. And it would go well together because they sit in the same kind of, I've got reversals in it, so it happens. But I really like this deck. It reads so well. It's so good. It's iconic and classic for a reason. All the reasons that I liked and kept Witchy Cat are the same with this one. But with the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot, I'm more likely to just pick it up on its own, though, too. So, like, I don't always go searching for this one. And I don't want to keep them together because, thoughts and stuff. So, I don't know. But I don't think I'm ready to let her go just yet. Because there's aspects of her that I do like. And then the Mermaid Tarot might be lonely if it doesn't have a friend to maybe play with, you know? A certain slant of light. Like, that's really good. With the Nine of Pentacles reversed over here and then the Seven of Swords. Yeah, that says things. What about the next one? Let's see. The Devil reversed. Mermaid with a Black Sea Serpent, so that gives me nothing. I'll need to check the book. And the Tower reversed. Oh, goodness. Let's just do a quick impromptu have a look and see. What is the card number? 42. Oh, there's a poem. Guys, there's a poem. They all have a little poem. I knew that. There's a little poem at the front. Cling to me with the desperation of a motherless child. I will give you all you need. Oh, okay. Maybe you are staying. Hold, please. Tell me your fears and I will swallow them whole. Drink their essence. Consume them with greed. Rely on me and I will stay by your side. Forever your pet, the only one. Lean on me. I will be your support. Forever your crutch. Your autonomy undone. Okay. All right. Be clear. Anyway, that is a very interesting little blurb. And then we have the Tower reversed and the Devil reversed over here. Well, anyway, I guess she stays according to that particular combo. But anyway, yeah. So she'll stay for now. But just know that I have interesting feelings and the opportunity to explore the relationship with these decks a little bit more for now. So yeah, they have their own attitude. Let me just say, mermaids are sirens. Do not forget. They're beautiful. They are enticing, but there's always, it's much like working with Fae energy. There's just a sense of caution that one must remember when working with them. And that's the Galatea card, the Triumph of Galatea. Oh, so good. Okay, yes. Okay, that's today's little adventure. So, as a wrap up, I guess we'll do some numbers, embarrassingly. I think we went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We went through, I think, 26 decks today, and we're going to get rid of one. And the one that we're getting rid of, I've gone and buried over here beneath all of these little things, and it's just the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. That's the one that's going to go. But I'm happy with that. That's fine. I knew this category was going to be one that was going to give me grief, but that's totally fine. And I don't mind at all. I will put, so I guess that, what are we decluttered now? Did we hit the 50s last time? Are we at 56 now? Anyway, numbers are up on the screen for your enjoyment. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this little slice of my collection and a whole bunch of little mini deck reviews. And then the next video we're going to do, I believe, is going to be esoteric and occult decks. So we're going to switch gears from fun, whimsical, gentle Fae to the intellectually spicy, kind of pretentious, but still super fun esoteric and occult decks, which is another category I thoroughly enjoy, and there's quite a bit in there too. So anyway, look out for that. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Check out the member space if you want to see extra videos, join our private Discord, all that jazz. Check out the playlist if you want to see more of these videos, because there's a lot of them and there's more coming. And I will see all you fine people in my next video. Bye!